Hi, so in this video I'm going to talk you through the contents of your soap making kit. Half the items are for you to keep and to turn into soaps, and then the other half you're just loaning from me, and then they can be returned here at the studio or at my house nearby. So hopefully this will be a nice little activity for you to enjoy. So here we go. So in the box you'll have a little glass tray, that's just to protect your surfaces. You'll have a box of, what I've done is I've cut clear soap and shea opaque soap. That should make a nice variety of soaps for you to enjoy, and this will make 10 soaps in total, this box. You've got some rose petals and some lavender. You've got three different primary colours of dye, so you can pretty much make any colour from those. You've got 3 scents, and of course some soap moulds depending on your choice. I'm just going to make a very simple square one today to show you how it's done. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, and of course you've got your cooking pot, that's the most important thing. So I've given you the pot and then a stirrer. You just need to do something like this, like a double burner on your stove with a small pan with boiling hot water inside. The other option, it does say on the instructions, I've never tried this myself, is that you can put a small amount in the microwave, as long as in a glass jar, as long as it's covered with cling film. So maybe I'll try that one day, but you can give it a whirl. And when you open your box, you just need to cut it up with a knife into small pieces like so. And I'm just going to get started and then talk a little bit more as it's cooking. So basically I've put 100 grams worth of stuff in there. Now you can either weigh that with your kitchen scales, or it's roughly, I don't know if you can see that, 3 or 4 pieces about that big. It doesn't massively matter. You know, you're trying to fill this, but it's often quite nice to have like a layered effect. So you'd maybe put 2 small pieces of clear, maybe you'd pour that into your mould in a certain colour, and then a little bit later when this is hardened you do another 2 pieces, and then you put maybe a solid and a different colour on top. You can really go to town and have some really creative ideas. Some people have done unicorns with like 7 layers of different colours, like why not? And then at this stage, whilst it's cooking, is when you can also add some colour. Now these dyes that I've given you are really, really strong, so don't go wild and squirt loads in there. You really want to limit it to like a drop, and obviously it's easy to add more, it's hard to take it out and if it becomes like a horrible dark colour. So yeah, I'm just going to give that a little mix, and that's cooking away nicely in there. Okay, and whilst it's cooking, I'm going to talk you through some other things that you probably have at home that you can add to your soaps to make them even nicer. So you could include coffee, that's an easy one. Some small oats, some fine oats. If you haven't got small ones, then I'd suggest you put them in the blender first and make them a bit less. Sugar, brown sugar is really nice. Don't go wild on the dry ingredients, because they need to like bond with the soap, so you need at least 70-80% soap and 20% of these dry ingredients, otherwise it'll just all crumble. So just don't be wild with them. Black poppy seeds I've used before as well, and those are probably it for exfoliation, but of course you can probably find more online as well. If you're looking for some natural scents, maybe you have things at home like mint and cinnamon. They make lovely kind of seasonal soaps. And then also you can add things like honey to, you know, for skin softness. Also maybe like a little bit of oils, olive oils, almond oils. But again, just be careful with the quantities that you use. This soap is kind of ready to be used as it is, so you don't want to change the, you know, the density of it too much. So just a drop of those things. Things like star anise are nice, and any of your kind of dried flowers. Always promoting Spice of Life down on Inverness Place. They've got everything. This is where I buy a lot of the stuff. Chamomile, tea bags, all sorts of stuff. So what I'm waiting for is for this to melt through. It's just taking a minute. And then we need to take some scent. Oh, there's mine. We don't add the scent when it's burning, because otherwise the scent will evaporate into the air and your soap will smell of nothing. So we're just going to wait, and when that comes off the heat, then I'm going to add it, then I'm going to pour it. And then the final thing I wanted to tell you about was packaging. So you can really easily package them up when they're hard with tissue, with old wrapping paper, with brown paper, with cellophane. You can add ribbons and bows and all sorts. You can really go to town on decorating them, and also you can add stickers that look really nice as well. So this is almost ready, but just a few little tips there to keep you entertained. And then, yeah, there's different shape moulds. I'm trying to think if there's any more tips that would be handy for you. But honestly, it's such a lovely, easy process. Makes a great gift. Yeah, oh, that's, yeah, a few tips about me now not stirring it too much. Don't be like tempted to stir it non-stop. What we don't want is a big bubbly soap. You do need to kind of let the heat work its way through it very gently. Otherwise you'll get loads of bubbles. If you do get bubbles on the surface when it's finished, you can kind of pop them with this, and you can like light a match, and that will actually draw the oxygen out, but just be very careful when you do that, because sometimes you can stain the surface, so only if you really don't want bubbles. And then the other thing about these dried ingredients, these need to be ready to go, because actually the top layer hardens the first. So if you wait a while and then add the decoration, it'll just sit on the top, and then as soon as you release the soap, it will just like fall off all onto the floor. So you do need to add this straight away. Some of it will sink, and then you can just leave it to cool for up to half an hour. On a warm day like today, maybe an hour. So you just keep a check on it and check underneath, and when it's not warm anymore, you're probably good to go. Right, I think that's pretty much done. So what we're going to do is, oh, I'm missing a stage, losing it, get my scent in there. All right, scent wise, per soap, I would suggest 2 drops. Okay, so give it a little squeeze, get out 2 drops. Whew, that's strong. Mix it in, pour it into your mould. Oh, look at that, perfect size. And if I want to add the decoration, I would add that now. And that'll all sit there, and that'll harden nicely. Hopefully you can see that. And don't do what I did, try and keep it still for as long as possible, and then you'll get a really nice design. There you go, 1 soap made, 9 to go. Thanks, bye.